Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Europa Universalis 4. I'm your Chief Gironca and today I am back in the lands of El Dorado. I currently have my Spain series going on, but other than that I haven't really been showing off a whole lot of the new features. And other than the exploration, they also introduced some new religions. They introduced the Aztec, the Mayan and the Inca religion, and they also introduced custom nations. And this is what I want to show off today. I created 4 custom nations and I actually tried to give them a personality or a character, and I just want to show off my 4 nations. And I'm going to start with the Chivan over here, so let's hop in the game, shall we? And you might know this, or you might have seen some of Arumba's Uber Russia campaign, and this looks like I stole it, although you have to believe me, I came up with this independent from Arumba. I watched it and I got some ideas from him, but this is my own, and I really did that independently, and you will see there are some differences. I would even say it's better, but you can decide that afterwards. Now, I called them Chivan Rus, and whoever knows about some of the history of Russia, you might know why I called them Chivan Rus. But yeah, I'm not gonna reveal that. You should find out for yourself. So we have a lovely flag of a red deer in front of a blue or turquoise background with, well, black and white, whatever. I don't even know. I just thought that looks good. Anyway, we are a feudal monarchy, and we have King Chief Gironcarus. So we have the Gironcarus dynasty, and he's a complete idiot. He's 20 years old and he doesn't know anything. His heir is also called Chief Gironcarus, and he's an idiot as well. He's 0 years old and totally terrible. The culture is Uralic, although we accept Siberian and Ostiak. I'm gonna go over that later. And we have a wonderful capital in Perm, which allowed me to pick Western technology for free. And that's quite awesome because, you know, if this would have been my capital, Western technology would have cost like, I think 20 or 40 points. And now it doesn't cost anything. And I should mention that I created these custom nations, this one or the 3 other ones, with a cap of 200 points. I reached exactly 200 points and then I stopped. So these are Chimeras. They're huge wasteland. They actually have some of the provinces that have unknown production. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I could pick some rivals, but I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna start playing yet. I will play eventually, but I just want to show you how I created this country. So I focused this country, just like Uber Russia, on attrition and fort defense, manpower, and all that kind of stuff. So I choose the Coptic religion, which gives us an extra 10% fort defense. I just think that's quite useful. And let's get to the ideas here. Yes, I said technology is Western, and ideas. This is probably the most interesting. Now the ambitions, our tough traditions as I called them, is attrition +2 and monthly war exhaustion -0.5. And the attrition for enemies was really expensive, especially as an ambition. However, the monthly war exhaustion didn't cost anything because 0 times 2 is still 0. So that's awesome. Now the next one in line is Cold Wilderness. That's the first one, and I'm just gonna read out this text real quick. The harsh and cold lands of east of the Ural Mountains, often referred to as the Cold Wilderness, are home to arguable simple but most definitely stubborn folk. They defend their homes to the last man. Fort defense +20%. So as you can see, you have the Ural Mountains over here. And then most of the Chivan Rus territory is east of this. So yeah, that's what you know as Siberia, and now it's called the Cold Wilderness. And this plus 20 fort defense will add to the plus 10 we got over here, so we got already 10% fort defense. Quite awesome. And what else we got? The second one, stand united. Much like penguins stay close to keep themselves warm and safe, our infanterists look after one another, thus not losing formation even during the most chaotic battles. So yeah, because of this stand united policy, we have increased infantry combat ability. Next one in line, there can only be one chief. With Gironca's dynasty strengthening its grip on the realm, many local rulers continuously lose influence. So, as you can see, or as you can probably tell, there have been a lot of tribes over here. You know, these regions over here are not that as densely populated as some of the European provinces over here. So there has been a lot of local nobility, a lot of clans, and but the Gironca's dynasty has managed to unite them under their banner, and therefore they rule from a more centralistic point. They rule from their capital Perm, and that obviously makes the autonomy go down. Next idea, oh there we go. Next idea is supply side policies. Supply-side policies aim to increase long-term competitiveness and productivity. In the long run, this helps to reduce inflationary pressures. I actually just got that from a website because I didn't know what to write about inflation, but there you go. Benevolent ruler. The common folk knows of the ruler's love for his country and its people. He must not be reminded of their problems through constant rebellions. National unrest -2. Now this is, if you've watched some of my Albania or France or Spain videos, pretty much any video, I'm constantly annoyed by rebels. So this is pretty much just to give me a break. Then the next one, actually my favorite, Ora et labora, which is translated pray and work. Church is closed, so you better start working. Increases the production efficiency by 10%. And the last one, logistics. It's quite straightforward. Having to cover a huge realm, as you can see, it's pretty large, especially in a time of 1444. Having to cover a huge realm, traders need to transport goods efficiently, so the trade efficiency increases slightly. And now for the ambitions of our awesome nation, is just discipline plus 2.5%. You know, just thought might as well throw that in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this country. Now I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a playthrough of this, but what I want to do is I want to show you the next custom nation that I've designed, and I'll be there in a bit. So see ya. Hello, and here I am again. This time we're over here in North America, and this country that I want to show off this time is much smaller than the achievement Rus that I just showed you, and it's completely different. It's called the Sons of Life. Now many of you know, but Life is written as L-E-I-F. So as many of you might know, Leif Erikson was was a Viking raider or sailor, and he was the first one to actually discover North America and not Columbus. And yeah, so the people that live over here are the Sons of Life, and they actually survived. They actually established colonies that lasted up until 1444, and I'm gonna show off them right now. Now, they obviously have a sailor wheel, and yeah, so they're a despotic monarchy and have Norwegian culture, but they also accept Inuit culture, which is the indigenous, or I don't know, the native population of this area. And the King Lifeson is actually not a retard. He is quite a warrior, and he's a pretty decent administrator. He's just not a diplomat. But the Norwegians are not known, or at least the Vikings are not known for their diplomatic strength, so there you go. And he has an heir, actually. He has a daughter, and her name is Erika Leifson, and she is diplomatic. She does have quite a lot of diplomatic strength, which is, you know, probably because of the charm and beauty that women do have. Now, of course, I know that especially Viking women were even in strength, and so she should probably have a higher military score than 2, but I just thought to make it this way. She's also a decent administrator, but her strength is definitely in the diplomatic area. Now, the religion is obviously Norse, because these people descended from the Vikings, and what I like about Norse culture is that you can actually select a deity. So you can select Odin. I've never played as Norse country before. I've never played as a Coptic nation, so that's going to be quite interesting. And actually, we are able to see the Chief and Rus because we have Western technology, so we are able to see their capital, which is quite nice. So we can see them. They couldn't see us, but they might get spread of discoveries eventually. Now, we get extra naval and land force limits from this religion, and we can also pick a deity, either Odin, you know, legitimacy. You can read that out yourself. Snotra. I know about Odin and Freya and Thor. Those Tyr, Njord, and Snotra, I've never really heard about them, but it's probably going to be quite cool to play as them. Yeah, but let's get to the ideas now. And as I said, we have Western technology as well. That was quite costly over here, so that took up actually most of our points, which is the reason why we only have 2 provinces. And it's going to be quite difficult for us because our lands are not connected. So we need to colonize Taqamuk as soon as possible. But let's get to the ideas. First of all, our traditions give us yearly prestige and prestige from land battles. As Vikings, in my opinion, we're really prestigious people where prestige, honor, and all that played a huge role, and that's kind of the cultures that the Sons of Life kept. Alright, so the first idea is the early endeavor. Our ancestors crossed the ocean years ago. Luckily, they knew how to build durable ships, which I guess makes quite a lot of sense because sailing over all the way from, well, Norway, or at least Iceland, and stopping only over here in Greenland, you had to cross quite a huge distance. And you need some durable ships for that, especially considering that it was like 800 that Leif Erikson was coming over here. So that's pretty awesome. Next one is true warriors, for honor, for glory, for victory. I don't need to say any more, do I? And next one is concubines. Bastard, you say? I do not know such thing. As the Vikings the Vikings are known to have a lot of concubines, so there you go. Actually, in Crusader Kings 2, if you play as a Norse guy, then you know that you can have up to 3 concubines, which pretty much makes it impossible for your dynasty to die out. The next one, daring adventurers. Our fearless sailors are eager to find new shores, even if they are far, far away. Increases the colonial range plus 10%. And I think that makes quite a lot of sense. Descending from Vikings who are fearless sailors, definitely. But also, you know, they're actually able to see all the way down here. That's pretty amazing. Anyway, I think that makes quite a lot of sense. Increasing their colonial range. Now, this is definitely nothing I would have picked if I like want to get anywhere. Like I think that's rather a pretty useless idea group to have. But I just wanted to build up custom nations that just have a theme going on. So that's why I picked this. Next one, true patriots. You have won for now. Now, this increases the hostile core creation, and I just thought, you know, Vikings are really strong warriors, and they would never, like, they would, of course, they would, if they know they lost, they would obviously give up eventually, you know, they just have to. But they would just wait for the time they can break free or strike back, and therefore I think it makes sense that they will keep their culture even if they're, you know, being occupied. So that's the reason I took this one. Next one, peace was yesterday. Being in a constant state of war has not gone unnoticed. Mercenaries flood our cities, waiting to be hired. So this increases the available mercenaries, which makes sense because obviously the Vikings are quite a warmongering folk, and so they will go to war often. And the mercenaries, you know, they want to fight. I mean, that's their job. So obviously they're gonna join your cities. And the last one, warrior clans. The numerous warrior clans in our country provide the national army with plenty of new recruits. And yeah, as I said again, Vikings love to fight, to raid, and so everyone pretty much is raised as warriors, and so you get your manpower back rather quickly, especially talking about how many kids they might have. So there you go. And as for the traditions, or what's it called? The last one's probably called ambitions. Yeah, the last one's called ambitions. I gave them a colonist, which I think also makes quite a lot of sense, having this like a adventurer, explorer, colonizing kind of country. So yeah, that's that. And I'm gonna hop on to the next one, which you can already see over here, the Mayats Tekinga, but I'll see you in a bit. Okay, and here I am with the third custom nation. And yeah, so this is in a region that has gotten a lot of updates in the recent patch, and the problem is I couldn't decide. I mean, there's three, as I said, there are three new religion. Actually, let's show the religion map mode. There are three new religions. There's Nahuatl, there's Mayan, and there's Inti religion. And I tried to create a nation that somewhat resembles all three of them, and therefore I called them Mayaztecinca. So yes, you can see, pretty smart, huh? Anyway, I couldn't decide on, which religion I wanted to pick, so instead I just stayed with the basic one, the animist religion. And I've never played as animist. It doesn't really seem all too interesting. I mean, it's just national unrest, tolerance of truth. There's nothing you can do. So maybe what is possible, if I can, I'm a pagan, so I might be able to convert to one of their religions. I don't know if it's possible. We'll see. Now, what I made sure that I would not take over any of their of the provinces of their religion. So I stopped right here. So these provinces are all uncolonized, or they were uncolonized, and so are all these provinces. I think there was one little nation over here, but it was animist. It was not Inti, so that's fine. Yeah, as you can see, the Mayats Tekinka have also colonized some of Cuba and Haiti, and also got Jamaica, and they can actually see all the way up to the Sons of Life, which I think is quite interesting. And you can compare the difference in size. Those are only two provinces, and there are far more provinces. And obviously, this is achieved by having a Mesoamerican tech group. So they have to pay a lot more to get better technology, and they only start with Tech 1, whereas the Sons of Life Tech start with Tech 3. So they are more technology advanced. So it's gonna be difficult, but they have a great nation. So we'll see how they do. Yeah. So the coat of arms, nothing too special, just this little guy. I just thought he looks cute. Anyway, let's get to the ideas. No, not mission. Ideas. There you go. So the Mayats Tekinkan ideas, or traditions, is morale of army and discipline. So this is what they start off with, really focusing on the military. They have strong military, and their ambitions is attrition for enemies. Not a whole lot, only 0.5, simply because that's what they do. Anyway, so let's get to the first idea, the army's backbone. To become a Mayats Tekinkan soldier, years of hard practice are needed. The result, are excellent troops, so infantry combat ability increases slightly. Next one, Pecunia non olet. So give me your stinking money. Haha. Yeah. Anyway, next one, natural buildings. Having a close relationship with nature can be rewarding. My Aztecan architects often build structures into hills or around trees, thus saving material. So obviously, as these folks over here, the Aztecan population has a strong relationship with nature, and they're pretty much living off of nature. By the way, Panama is the capital. And so what they do, they don't have those high populated cities or whatever, and instead they really live in the forests, in the hills, whatever. So they don't try to make the nature they don't try to change the nature. They try to change themselves in order to live with the nature, and at some point that can be rewarding. So yeah, there you go. Next one, ever-growing cities. My Aztecans don't like it crowded. If there are too many people in one spot, they simply move away. This way, colonizing feels somewhat natural. And this explains how this country can stretch so vast already. So what people do if it gets too crowded, because their lifestyle doesn't really support huge cities, so they rather have smaller cities all over the place, or smaller settlings that just spread out. So the problem is that they have spread and colonized new lands, but now they actually border other nations to the south, to the north, and they still have some places to spread, but eventually that will cause some trouble because they cannot just move over here. They will have to fight with other peoples. And that's right the time where we can jump in today. Alright, next one. Honesty is the best policy. Annoyed by complaints of the peasantry, King Tincamayatstec issued a decree in 1241 stating that he just doesn't care. Somehow that made everyone shut up. Alright, there you go. Decreases national unrest by a little bit. Religious customs. Religion always played a big role in the everyday life of a Aztecan. It is so accustomed that you might as well call it part of the culture. This slightly increases religious unity, which I guess makes sense. Having all this, having this strong relationship to nature, and believing in gods of nature and stone or whatever, like natural powers, believing in the elements. That's at least in my opinion what this animist culture is. And the last one, prestigious military. Members of the armed forces are considered to be just, honorable, and overall better people. They also get a lot of discounts. You better sign up right here. So it's pretty much like Uncle Sam wants you for US Army. That's pretty much what the Aztecan have for their army. And I already talked about the attrition for enemies. So this country is somewhat focused on expansion, but also has a strong military, which is quite interesting. And that was it for this one. Actually, let me show the religion map mode once more. So you can see animist all over the place, and Nahuatl, Mayan, and animist over here. And then North America is totemist. And then in Greenland you see shamanist, and over here, Sons of Life, you see Norse culture. So there you go. Didn't show that one last time. And now I will switch over to the next one. So see you in a bit. Hello everyone, and welcome back. Now the last custom nation that I designed is very different from the other ones, and it's not the smallest, but it probably has the most province value out of all of them, even though it only has a couple provinces. And it has this lovely tricolor and this cute flower in the middle, and it's a merchant republic. So there you go. And so you get an extra merchant and some more caravan power, and you have Peshra Raman Kolatiri. Now I couldn't change the last name, and it doesn't really matter because there's no dynasty in the Merchant Republic. They just choose whoever they want to choose. And yeah, so actually one diplomat is called Rama, which is funny. Anyway, so they have some Hindu, not Hindu, but Indian culture. I mean, let me show the culture. Yeah, so they have some of these cultures down here. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so they're a merchant republic, and their religion is Hindu, and this is really cool because as like the Norse culture, you can select the deity. So you have Shiva, Ganesha, Vishnu. Those are the big ones I know. And you also got Shakti, Ganga, and Surya, and they have, you know, all different benefits. And a cool thing about this is that you get to select the deity for every new ruler you have. And with a merchant republic, it means every 4 years, as you can see, next election is 1448. Every 4 years, you get to select a new deity, which makes it very cool for your country, or it makes it very easy to set certain directions where you want your country to go. Now, for Tradistan, as this country is called, as you can see here, Tradistan, we're obviously gonna focus on trade as a merchant republic. Now, the capital is over here in Malabar, and Malabar is a important center of trade. So you get more trade power and naval force limit +2. Actually, let's check the money. Yeah, we're making currently 12 ducats from trade, and we have deployed 2 traders so far. And yeah, we're making 12 ducats of trade in 1444. That's pretty amazing. We don't even have any ships patrolling. And actually, let me see, how many ships can we build? We can build 23 ships. That is pretty amazing. At least, I think so. Now, of course, our technology is Indian, so we have to pay 50% extra. It's not as bad as the Mites Techica, but it's still pretty bad. We have actually one beta tech. We don't start as tech 1, we start with tech 2. It's still pretty crap. But yeah, so the capital is important center of trade. Then we have over here this province, Kotte, which is also an important center of trade. And we got Coromandel, which is an important center of trade. And we got Tondainaju, which is, surprising, an important center of trade. And the fifth province, no, not the fifth. Actually, is it the fifth one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the fifth province, Velanadu, is no center of trade, but it is a Krishna, or is the Krishna estuary. So at least you get some local trade power from it. And if you look at the trade map mode, you see the huge Ceylon. Actually, you can't really see it, but you see the huge Ceylon trade region, or what is it called? Center of trade. And so it has 1 important center, 2 important centers, 3, 4. So there are 4 important centers of trade in this trade node, and we control all of them. And there's 2 estuaries, and we control 1. Now the sixth, we control 1 of them. Now the 6th one we couldn't get, unfortunately, because the points were not enough. But I think that really gives us quite a huge, yeah, it gives us 60%, just like that, with no ships patrolling. That is pretty amazing. I like that. So, and we also probably have a lot of points over here. Oh, we don't really. Well, we get some extra caravan power. The aristocrats. Oh, so that's right, because we're a republic, we get to choose factions. So we have the guilds, we have the traders, and we have aristocrats. So we probably want to have the traders in there, which will give us less tax, but another +10 global trade power. So that's very nice. What do the guilds do? Build cost, goods produced, morale of armies, and land maintenance. Okay. And then we can also select our deity, which will probably national tax, national trade income. So that's very nice. So we can really make a lot of money. And even though we're a small country, we will be able to fight them just by spamming mercenaries. And the first goal will probably be Konasima. But let's get to the ideas here. Obviously, we have our traditions give us trade efficiency and global trade power. Only increase slightly because we use most of our points to get the provinces. And our ambitions give us land force limit modifier, just so we can build more troops. We can support them anyway, being rich. So that's the reason. The first one, safe caravans. Our caravans are said to be the best protected caravans in the entire known world. Often merchants of other nations make detours solely to enjoy the safety provided by our troops. Fortunately, they sell some of their goods along the way. So that increases our trade steering and obviously helps us manage our global trade empire. The next one, knowledge of the merchants. Our merchants are active in cities around the world. During war, their knowledge can be used to blockade our enemies more efficiently. How convenient. Now that makes a lot of sense because having merchants in coastal cities especially all of the time, they basically know, how the city is built and what the weaknesses of the city might be. So for example, look at the trade map mode. There's this important center of trade over here in Goa, and that's very close to our capital, so our merchants are traveling there quite often, and so they know a lot about this city. So if we were to go to war with whoever controls this VJ, we could easily blockade this, and this is the idea behind this idea group. The idea behind the idea, well, you know what's going on. Bargain. With our wits and cunning, there's no way we are going to pay the full price for stability, so slightly decreasing stability cost. Convoys. In order to protect our trade interests at home and abroad, it is crucial to maintain a powerful fleet. So obviously, we have to protect our trade interests, so we need a lot of ships, and that will increase our naval force limit by quite a lot. Grassroots democracy. By shifting as much of the decision-making authority to the common people as practical, pretty much everybody seems to understand the benefits of our republic. I just think that is a very convenient idea to have, because my problems with republics is usually that I don't have enough tradition, and that's probably the problem everyone has, and this increases it, so it makes it a lot easier to play as a republic. Army training. Training high quality troops is expensive, but it pays off. The better discipline leads to less casualties and saves manpower. Materials are replaceable, humans are not. And that is very true, because for a country like ours, we really need high disciplined troops. We don't have many troops, but those troops gotta fight well, because we're not gonna have a whole lot of manpower. We are more focused on our little trade provinces, so we need to get some high value troops. And it might be expensive, but money is pretty much the only thing we really have. And the last one, role models. Our merchants are a good example of efficient workers. By emulating them, we could increase our production output. So yeah, that's quite self-explanatory. And I already went over the ambition, so that is that. That is Tradistan. And yeah, I hope you like this. Actually, can we see anyone over here? Hold on. Oh, yeah, we can see the achievement rush. Now, this is very funny. So, we, Tradistan, can see the achievement rush, and so does the Sons of Life. And the Sons of Life are also able to see the Mites Tekinka, and the Mites Tekinka are able to see the Sons of Life. And the achievement rush are the only ones who cannot see anybody. At least I believe so. I think they could only, see this part. I'm not sure. They might see other parts, but I just don't know. Anyway, that was it for this episode of Chief's Choice. I will probably pick out one of them or maybe all of them and play a couple episodes and show them in the next couple days or weeks or month. I don't know. But yeah, I just if you are interested in playing as one of these nations, I could give you either the save game or you can create your own, whatever you like. I hope you have fun. And that was it. It's Chief Gironca, signing off.